Anthony Grassi here for College.town at the 2025 NACDA Convention. Happy to sit down with Arizona Christian University Director of Athletics, Peter Dreyer. Peter, thank you for joining me today.
It's great to be here. A lot of activity going on.
No kidding. If you can hear it or not, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the reason I imagine you are also here.
Yeah.
Athletic Director of the Year. What does that mean for you as an administrator?
Yeah, a very nice honor. I mean, I couldn't believe it, and was surprised to see that was the case, but certainly very grateful for it. And I like it because it brings a positive spotlight to our university and to the people that work at our university, our student athletes, our coaches. And so for that reason, I'm very honored by it. And I'm still skeptical of the process that put me in this position, but nonetheless, very grateful.
What does that mean for you and your staff? Obviously, you as the individual receiving the award is one thing, but I imagine that is a testament to the work that you, your staff, the coaches, and obviously the student athletes put into for the whole year.
Yes, no, that's right. I think it affirms a lot of the things that we try to do. And sometimes we make decisions and we're going about how we do athletics, and we're not always certain, is this the right way to go, right? Should we be doing it this way? Should, that other place, they do it a different way. And so I think it affirms to some degree that we are doing things well. We are making decisions that matter to our student athletes. We're getting good feedback, and at the same time, the award recognizes that we are headed in a good direction. And so sometimes you can second guess that, right? And maybe not always know if what you're doing makes sense and is what's best. But getting an award like this certainly helps to affirm that, and I think for our staff, it helps to affirm them as well and the good work that they're doing.
As an administrator who kind of came up at ACU as well,
yeah.
How have you kind of defined what you believe to be the mission and vision for the department?
Yes, no, that was a fun and enjoyable process. And I tell you what, our university is very dynamic in its mission and vision. We're a faith-based university, and so our primary goal is to help our students and in athletics, our student athletes grow in their relationship with the Lord. And so what an awesome platform, or vehicle like athletics to do that. And so I'll be honest, vision, mission, and like the big ideas, that's not something that comes naturally and I'm just spitting that stuff out. I've had to work hard at that and understanding for myself, how do I go about doing that? And so, consuming all the resources and having the conversations with folks that are here walking around that have done it really well has really helped me better understand how to go about doing that. And so our mission at the university is very compelling, and I'm a firm believer that for small schools like us, we need to be 100% totally aligned with our university and how we operate. And so especially with the variety of disruption that goes on in college athletics, the closer that we cling to our university and the mission, and we support the goals and objectives of the university, the better off we're going to be. Will that always translate into wins and whatever? Not always in the same way. But that will produce a healthier department. And so mission and vision aligned with our university has been the best way to go, and we're off and running with it. And so we're young as a university, and so that's still taking shape. That's actually a summer project of mine to kind of recast that vision as we've been on this road now for a little while. And so it's a very timely question and a very important one.
Talked about the alignment with between the athletic department and the institution.
Yeah.
That is also, as I guess a proxy, the alignment between you and your president.
Yes.
How have you worked on and developed and maintained that relationship?
Yeah, great question. Our president is very dynamic and very active in his involvement with athletics. He's part of the COP within the NAIA. Mm-hmm. He actually started out as a sports writer. And so he has a deep love for athletics that goes back to his time when, as a participant and then covering it. So he wants to support athletics. He does support athletics and balances that with other objectives for the university. But we have regular conversations about it. He's understanding of the landscape, and he keeps up to date with what's going on all across athletics, whether that's the NAIA or other levels. So he is aware, and then we do have good discussion, and I'll do my best to keep him up to date on, what is it that's circling through the NAI that we need to pay attention to. And specifically for us, right now we're in Orlando, but out west in Arizona, the landscape looks even a little bit different, right? And so we have some unique challenges that we have to sort out and figure out, and he's been very supportive of that. He's got a lot of big ideas, which helps us think outside the box sometimes. And so keeping that regular conversation is very important. And so we do that, and he participates in our conference meetings. He participates at the national level as well, so he's very involved. And so it's enjoyable actually to have those conversations with him. It sharpens me, and I hope in some way that it sharpens him as he leads our institution.
How are you thinking about facing some of those challenges out west? Obviously, there's a unique geography within the NAI,
Yep.
where that is not maybe the most populated area.
Right.
So how are you thinking about some of those challenges to help position ACU to be the best department it can be?
Yeah, great question. I think being real strategic about how we are aligned as a conference, and being a good member in the NAI, and by that I mean, there's other institutions out west that like the idea of the NAI, whether they're new institutions coming into college athletics, or any variety of that, right? And so being a good member of the NAI and helping institutions that have a desire to be in the NAI, help them get there. Whether that's helping them start programs, helping them refine their programs, or helping them better understand why we love the NAI and why we feel like it's a great association. So I think being real strategic with how we align as a conference, I think being very mindful of the idea that we need to be a good member of the NAI and help it grow. And then, certainly navigating the challenges of being out west, and having maybe a more spread out geography, and being very strategic about that. We can't just pull a template from the Midwest and say, hey, let's do this because they did it. We've got to put our own spin on it, and we need to make sure that it works for us. And so being strategic in that regard so that we are doing things that make sense for us, while being a good member of the institution or with the association at large, I think is very important. We've tried to do that. We've got work to do, but that's been some of our MO.
It sounds like beyond being just a member, you're being a steward of the association.
That's
How
right.
has, on that kind of trend line, how has the Right Way to Play campaign helped advance maybe your ability to be a steward for the NAI?
Yeah, great thought or great question. The Right Way to Play fits in perfectly with our strategic initiatives and from an institution how we're trying to go. And so we are education-based athletics. And some of the large disruption items that happen that are going on here perhaps in Division I athletics, we love Division I athletics, but we operate different, right? And so our methodology and our approach to athletics is it's a vehicle, as I mentioned before, for students to come to our university and grow in their relationship with the Lord and earn a degree. And those two go hand in hand. And so that's number one, that's primary. And so we feel like that's the way that it's been. Not that the way that it's been is always the right way, but that's like keeping the main thing, we want to do that. And so despite some of the change, there's maybe different ways to do that, but we want to make sure that that's a focus, and that's how we want to operate. And so the Right Way to Play fits perfectly with our approach to how we run athletics at ACU. I think it's a great campaign too for our conference as we figure out how to interact with our conference members and some of the unique challenges out west. It's a great reminder that we are tackling this, maybe different institutionally, but on the whole, we're doing the same thing. We want students to come in, provide unique opportunities to earn a degree, send them out into the world to be leaders and change agents for the better. And so the Right Way to Play is great. And what I like is that they made it easy for folks like me. I'm not overly tech savvy in the social space, right? And so they've basically held my hand all the way there and said, here are the things you need, now go. And so we've been asking for that, and they've done a nice job of providing us the tools so that we can tell the story, our story, which happens to align very well with what the NAI is all about.
Absolutely. So Peter, as you come off of being the AD of the year, what are you looking forward to in 25-26?
Oh yes, great question. In thinking through this summer, I mentioned the idea of casting vision, and we're at a unique place at Arizona Christian. We moved onto a new campus about 6 years ago, kind of making that campus our own. The campus we moved onto didn't have athletic facilities prior to us moving on. And so we've spent a lot of time the last few years really developing what does this campus look like, how do our teams mix into it, And now we're at a place where we've got facilities lined up. We've got coaches that have been there for a while, and year after year they're getting better and better. We've got administrators that each year we've tried to refine and get a little bit better. And that idea of continuous improvement is something we talk about a lot. You know, how can we take this that we did this year that was good and make it just a little bit better? And so we've been doing that, and I think we're at a point now where we need to turn the corner, and where we've been doing things really well, and we've been progressing and getting a little bit better, and now it's time to take that next step, so to speak. And some of our teams have been on the cusp of, getting to national championships, and it's time to turn the corner. Some of our teams have battled in conference to try to do well. Now it's time to make that jump, and then the rest of the way through the department. So that's what I get excited about. I love the idea of reflecting on the past year. I love the idea of being strategic about, okay, we did it this way. How can we do it a little bit better? And then presenting that and getting buy-in from our department. And perhaps casting that vision for this year of, let's go from where we're at. Now let's take a jump. We've been planning. We've been preparing. So let's take that jump into what's next, and let's get everybody on board and support. And I think it'll be a fun ride.
Absolutely. Peter, thank you for joining me again. Lots to look forward to for ACU.
Yeah, that's right. Roll Storm.